welcome to Unhinged with Coach and Tom, where we be doing that bullshit. Beaumont's only local entertainment and information podcast.
I'm Coach.
I'm Tom. I think Coach is having a problem here.
Yeah, I'm not having any kind of problem. It's your fault. You didn't even know.
Well, you didn't count me in or anything. Like, how am I supposed to start recording? How am I supposed to start a podcast if you don't count me in or anything?
You're saying you're waiting on me, and I have everything started. I'm waiting on you.
Motherfucker, my microphone was sitting right there.
That sounds like a you problem.
You really don't want me to build this podcast studio, do you? Like, you just want to keep recording in your fucking bedroom so that motherfuckers behind can see your bed behind us.
Hey, whatever. What you and I do on that bed is our business, okay?
Which is nothing. Listen to me, America. I wouldn't fuck him with your dick.
Yeah, whatever. He likes this chocolate man. Don't let him.
I just couldn't imagine doing anything with those little flippy legs just out in space.
Bitch, you like these flippy legs. Stop lying.
Little feet just a kicking, just give it to me, daddy.
He's always trying to give me a dick touch, and I keep denying him.
But one pee-pee touch.
Yeah.
One pee-pee touch.
Denied.
One pee-pee touch.
Denied. Assault. Calling the police. I have video evidence.
I'm just white enough for it to be a hate crime.
Yes, it is a hate crime. And you have tattoos.
I do.
Yes.
I'm sure at least one of them could be construed as racist somehow.
What do we got going on?
Well, we have a gentleman today who will be joining us from Cancun, Mexico, to talk about his journey from Dallas to Cancun, as well as his experience working as a realtor in Mexico and his experiences just living life in Cancun, Mexico. It's Mr. James Young. I'm really excited for this conversation. It's somebody that kind of just came out of nowhere, and I'm excited to see what he has to share with us.
Okay. And then we also have Mr. Nihkil Pilli. He's going to be talking about an upcoming comedy program he's got going on.
Yeah, I could speak to that. So we have Mr. Nihkil Pilli, one of the two founding members of Comedy 409. He's going to be coming on to share some information about a show coming up here in Beaumont in the near future at a place called Soggy Bottom. He'll be joining us a little bit later.
Soggy Bottom.
There's
Sounds
a joke
moist.
in there. It's definitely a moist. It's a
That
very
was
moist.
Very moist.
It's a very moist bar.
Nice.
And that, folks, is how Tom ended up with the first hate crime charge. So anyway, I'd like to go ahead and jump in and get.
What the fuck?
I'm here for you. It's all in good fun.
All right, I'm all ready.
All right,
I'm all ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are here with Nihkil Pilli, one half of the founding members of Comedy 409, a collective of comedians here in Beaumont, Texas, of which I am a member. Him and his partner Miguel worked super hard to keep us working, keep putting money in our pocket, keep the shows going. So thank you very much for that, Nihkil.
And they're actually funny, unlike this one.
You know what? I've challenged you multiple
No
times
comment.
to grab the mic. That's
I'm
right.
Not funny.
I know you're not. That's why I'm here.
At least I can admit I'm not funny.
I refuse to admit I'm not funny.
Man, this is
Anyway.
the weirdest therapy session I've ever been to.
So Coach is an academic, which makes him a little bit of a communist. So this is just a struggle session. That's all it is.
What the?
Okay.
This just feel to it.
I will punch you.
I'll punch you back. I don't give a shit that your legs don't. When your legs don't work like they used to anymore.
What the fuck do you mean? They've never worked.
I know.
I'm not sure that's how the song goes.
So
What's up? What's up? Glad to be here.
We brought you on,
Thank you for having me.
Specifically. Yeah, man, we are so glad to have you here. We appreciate you making time to come out and talk to us. So, rumor has it we have some things going on here in the near future. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, we got a Soggy Bottom show on the 13th. That's a Saturday. That's coming up actually this upcoming week, and we got some exciting stuff planned for May 17th. We're having a huge festival show at Soggy Bottoms, so that's another thing that I'm looking forward to personally. We're having some amazing comics this quarter. Last quarter we had some really, really big hitters. We had Eric Knowles come back from tour, and I haven't seen that guy since last summer. So it's it was good to see him, and he absolutely murdered.
Yeah.
So that was really fun. But this next quarter, we're bringing in all the people because we're just having a steady flow of people from Houston hitting us up, Lake Charles hitting us up, Lafayette hitting us up. We're actually this week, this upcoming show, we got someone who is another person who is disabled coming on stage. He's a little bit more disabled than you. He's got a wheelchair going on, but but he
His is
is
in the other room.
hilarious. Oh, never mind. I sounded insensitive as fuck right there.
I did that on
But
purpose.
so he's
So
like
tell us more
he's
about your headliner, if you don't mind.
so so Ken Jones is the headliner. Dawn is the feature that I was mentioning earlier. And
Okay.
our headliner, Ken Jones, has actually done two of our shows so far. We did a show on campus at Lamar University at Campus Corner, and that one was it was hard. A lot of things went wrong, but we still had a good show, and I think everyone that was there had a good time because they didn't,
Mhm.
they couldn't serve liquor, so or alcohol or anything, so we just went and bought some,
Yeah.
and everyone just started taking shots at the table, and everyone was pretty loosened up by the time we had our headliner Ken go up. But Ken Jones is amazing. This guy is someone who's I can tell he is a very very seasoned comic. He's polished and he does it. It looks like he's not even trying up there. He
Yeah.
kind of reminds me of like the silliness you feel as a kid constantly.
Yeah.
To where it's just like you're just in play mode. You're not really
Yeah.
thinking about whether it's right or wrong. And he's super relatable with that too. I think that's his main sort of pull. But I can't wait to see him at Soggy Bottoms because he murdered in a crowd that was what, maybe 7 or 8 people, 10
Yeah.
people, something like that. Yeah, and
Well, I
Soggy
mean, those
Bottoms
intimate shows are
typically.
hard to kill in too. With
Yes,
those.
yes, sometimes. I
Yeah.
do I know I've talked to Tom about this before, but there is definitely a difference. You can gauge yourself as a comedian based on how well you do at a show for a very small crowd versus a really, really big crowd. I think when you
Mhm.
first start, it's really hard to feed off of the energy in a crowd when there's only 10 people rather than when there's 15, 50 or something like that.
Yeah. I
Um,
will agree.
yeah, but nowadays for myself, I would say it's definitely a little easier doing the smaller crowds, just because
Yeah.
I'm paying a lot more attention to the way people are reacting to each thing. I'm keeping tabs on like every single
Mhm.
person rather than just like being blind to the audience, which is a primary reason why people who first start comedy and even like veterans they need to record. It's especially important when you're first starting because you have no clue what the audience is reacting to. You're just up there and you're just sailing through, and then you get off stage and you don't remember how people reacted. You know,
Mhm.
and you'll get people who get off stage. They're like, you know, they absolutely bomb or they think they bombed, and then they look at the recording. It's like, oh, that was not bad. That was not as bad as I thought. And then you'll get
Yeah,
the
that's
other one where it's like, oh, I fucking murdered, and then you get to the recording, and it's like, I should quit tomorrow. This is,
yeah. I think we've all had those moments like that going back and watching the tape. I think that's probably one of
yeah,
my biggest problems
mm,
is I never feel like I did as well as I did, and that plays with my confidence a lot. So I'm taking some
yeah,
time away. I'm not going to perform again until my 420 show. So I'm just going to do
really,
open mics and yeah, I'm just going to do some open mics, hang out until then.
okay, okay, yeah. Sometimes that's necessary, right? Like you
Yeah.
gotta. I think comics need to be a little bit more intentional about their own process and understand where they are in their process, right? Every
Yeah.
time someone goes up on stage and I'm watching them, I can tell exactly where they are in their writing process, and in their
Hmm.
performing process. It's a little harder to gauge where someone is in their performing process because that's all about what are they paying attention to on stage? Are they making eye contact with everyone in the crowd? Or are they simply doing the 1,000 mile stare?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think people comics need to just know where they are in their path. Like for me, where I'm at right now is I'm trying to kind of get divorced from my set list a little bit more, be present with the crowd a little bit more.
Hmm.
And I think that's important because whenever I'm having to look back at my set, it kind of breaks the connection with the crowd for just a split second. But that split second is just enough to lose the rhythm of it all.
Yeah,
Which is
I was just yeah.
yeah, yeah. So like that's kind of where I'm at. I'm trying to make that switch. I'm trying to also just do more time without a set list, and I'll slowly sort of build that. When someone goes
Mhm,
into an open mic, they need to be intentional about what they're trying to work on. Are they trying to work on their
mhm.
stage presence? Like I've been doing jokes that I've been doing since I started for the past couple of mics and stuff, and I'm sure people notice. I don't care if I've done them before. What I'm doing at those open mics are just trying to get myself natural off my set list. And
Mhm.
that's what I'm there for. I'm not there to like test out new material for this moment.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Obviously I test out new material while I'm at it anyway, but it's not the main purpose.
But you're so let me ask you a question, Nikhil. What you're saying is you're being when you're saying you're being more deliberate about focusing about doing open mics and shows. When you say that, are you being more deliberate about the process or about specific things that you're wanting to work towards? Or both? Because I'm
I would say both of them are the same things, right? Like if you're like my goal is to be more deliberate about every sort of step I take with this, right?
Mhm.
Like I want to make sure that every time I go up on stage, it's not in vain, right? Stage time is very valuable stuff. People in Austin won't agree to that because they have 8 of them they can go
Yeah,
to at any point. But for us,
yeah,
it's a little bit more conservative out here that like we don't have 8 mics you can hit a night. Like you need to take
yeah.
advantage of the ones you do have, even if that means driving to Lake Charles on a Monday night.
Or
And
Houston
that's
on a Friday.
Hmm.
or
Yeah,
Houston on a
I
Friday. Wednesday
yep.
nights are the best for Houston, I think. That's
Oh,
my
absolutely,
yeah.
100%. I would say Wednesdays and Mondays are the best for Houston.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
They
if
have
you're in
some pretty good
Austin, I
yeah.
was gonna say in
Austin
Austin,
any day.
yeah, Austin, you can go any day. I actually so I kind of tended to work more in the downtown space more than like midtown or up in
Yeah.
northern Austin. So for me, it was like the Tuesday, Wednesday. I was doing an average when I was in Austin. I was doing an average of 3 to 5 mics a week.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
pretty standard. Yeah.
yeah.
There's what I would do when I was working in Austin. I was working as a ABA therapist, so I
Mhm.
was getting into work at like 10, and then getting off at 7 p.m. And it's like late night. I'm usually having running a migraine because my last session is always this one kid who just the entire session just screams at your face. Because
Oh,
that's the way he just communicates. So I'm like,
mhm.
calm down, and then I walk out of there to the open mics like with some brain fog and stuff like that. But I
Yeah.
get to the city at 7 p.m. and I try to hit as many as possible. Probably the tiniest bar is a really frequent mic I would go to. But
Yeah, I like
yeah,
Tiniest Bar.
you went to tiniest bar?
Yeah, I went to Tiniest
Oh
Bar,
man,
Sky High. I tried the mothership a couple times, never got out of the bucket.
have you ever heard of Kick Butt Coffee?
I've heard of Kick Butt Coffee. I've done Kick Butt Coffee.
Kick
So
Butt
what I
Coffee
try to
was
do,
my favorite room, I
dude,
think.
it's such a
For
fun mic because the
Yeah,
atmosphere at Kick Butt is just so great.
it's
I
the
really
it's
enjoy.
the intimate presence.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The atmosphere,
Yeah.
it's that real tight room. So, you know what I mean? I love that room. Um, Honestly, my favorite room in the entire state, and I need to get you guys down there for this room for this mic. There's a bar, and I'm going to take it completely out of Austin and Beaumont altogether. There's a bar in Laredo called Cultura Beer Garden, and they have an open mic every I think Tuesday called the Mic Drop, and it's always been a fantastic mic. And I want to get you guys down there. I want to do some I want to rent a van or something as a
How
crew and
far
go
is it?
down there. It's like 6 hours. It'd be like a
Six
day trip.
hours.
Yeah,
Okay.
it'd be like an overnight trip.
Where is it close to?
It's
Which
about two
city?
hours south of San Antonio. It's
Oh,
right on
okay,
the
I see.
border. It's if you hit 70 or 35 dead south out of San Antonio, if you hit Mexico, you went just a hair too far.
Okay. Okay. I'm sure ICE would stop me before I did that, but I'll
They
keep
won't.
that in mind.
They won't.
They'll stop this guy, bro. Look at me.
No, they won't. They won't stop you till you're headed back north.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's
Getting
fair.
to Mexico isn't the problem. It's getting back.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
All right. So with Soggy Bottom coming up, we've discussed your lineup. Is there any other highlights that night that we need to be looking forward to?
Um, Well, I mean, there's wrestling after. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's what I was digging for.
Dude, I also heard that Soggy Bottoms does this like mud wrestling thing where women just get like butt ass naked. Well, not butt ass naked, but like just
Like
in bras and
bikinis.
bikinis and stuff and just start wrestling. I would love to go on a night like that. That sounds dope.
Can we do a live sports broadcast from Mud Wrestling Night at Soggy Bottom?
I don't care.
That would be fun.
That would be a
Another
fun show.
update. Another update is Lamar University. They had an open mic. Tom and I went to that, where they basically had they're trying to pick someone to open up for a local comedy show at Lamar. And I don't think Lamar's done a comedy show before, so this is probably the first one. And they asked me to do that. I think it was just because I'm a student. Because honestly, some of the other guys were like Supa and Miguel. They were crushing it on stage.
Yeah.
And my mic went out during my set that at the open mic, and I had to use the
I wish we
podium
had
mic.
video of that.
I had to use the podium mic, right, which is like the big ass box and stuff. And so I took the mic and I was just like, this feels like a classroom, like I took the
Yeah.
mic. Yeah, and
Yeah,
I just started doing an Indian accent with it. I thought it was funny. You
Yeah.
ever get a professor who you can't understand? They're like, "Welcome
Oh
to
my
Statistics
God.
2027."
Yeah.
Dude, that joke killed.
Fuck.
Yeah,
That joke
yeah.
killed.
Because I mean, everyone's been there. We all have that
Yeah.
one. We all
We've
have
all
that
had-
one
yeah.
diversity
That one
hire
teacher.
teacher. Yeah. We all had that one diversity hire teacher that we can't seem to pass their class. It's not because we're stupid. It's because they are. No, I'm kidding.
No.
But
Freaking out, bro.
Yeah.
No.
Yep.
it's mostly dude. Honestly, in psychology, most of them are white, right?
I almost didn't graduate because of a professor like that. Dr. Rui.
I feel like
Dr. Rui.
Yes.
Why does this feel like a therapy session?
He was like my calm law professor or something, and almost like it was my last semester, and he stressed me out so bad that I almost did not graduate.
Stress. Can you enlighten me more on how the stress felt for you?
This is not a therapy session.
I'm sorry. I wanted to see how long it would take for you guys to catch. But
No, I caught it.
No.
I caught it. I was like, this feels like
how did
therapy.
that failure feel?
This is not a
No, you know what-
disability
You know what's bad is
person therapy session.
you know what's really bad is Nihkil and I'll see each other at the bars and at the mics and stuff or at shows, and he'll just start like psychoanalyzing me at
Oh,
the
yeah.
bar, and I'm like, Nihkil, please don't do that here. Like, let me
can't-
do that, buddy, but
I can't turn it off. I'd be the worst. Look, I'm in school right now to get a degree that will let me become a therapist after I'm done. I have no clue. I mean, I'm a great clinician. It's not that. It's just that I don't know how to do that
yeah,
after doing comedy. Like I'm constantly whiplash between the two because I got to go from like APA
can
style to like
imagine.
comedy.
Oh, you can
Yeah, I
teach
know,
people how
it's-
to use comedy to get over their issues. Cause
Yeah,
Yeah, but
does
I don't
not
want them to
work.
use comedy as a crutch. There's so many, like myself, right? Like I don't know if I'm like the first time I ever told someone that I'm doing comedy. It was a friend of mine, right? A pretty close friend, and you know what he said? He said, "But you're not funny." So I don't know if I love comedy or if I'm just a really, really fucking spiteful human being. Like
It's either Spider Stockholm syndrome.
maybe one of the two.
I use
Stockholm to the mute. Stockholm syndrome to the muse.
because I use dark humor to get through my disability shit.
Yeah, dude, I
Yeah.
would be too. I use humor all the time whenever I'm stressed out from school and all that. Like,
Yeah.
I work in a free clinic at Lamar, and we're in this Congress room a lot, and I love that job just because I'm in there and I just crack jokes with everyone, and everyone's like super stressed about finishing their thesis and all that. And I'm just kind of taking the charge out of it by slamming
Yeah.
a joke every now and then. But I think I take it too far sometimes. Like that joke I told Jamarcus, or I don't know if you were here, but remember that joke I told you about Chris Hansen? Like I pitched
Yes.
that. I pitched that to my. Did I tell you that
Please tell
joke?
me it wasn't to a child sexual trauma survivor.
No, I didn't pitch it to a client. I'm not that stupid. I pitched it to my clinical director. Wait, Actually, that's pretty stupid too. So
Yeah, I was about to say that's not any better.
she handled it really well, though. She handled it really well. I think she even gave me a tag.
That's funny.
Yeah. She's like my clinical director is she's whimsical, but she doesn't know when to stop the joke. Like one time we got these gummy brains, right? And we had a whole jar filled with these little gummy brains. They were really good. But the entire week until that jar was completely empty, she just made brain jokes.
Mm.
I would tell her like, "Oh, I'm so stressed. I don't know how I'm gonna get this paper done." And she's like, "Does your brain need a break? Maybe you should eat your brain." And then she would
Oh
hand me
my
like yeah, it was so
Oh,
stupid. It would be like really, really stupid jokes. And then everyone else would be like pity laughing her. And I'm like,
Don't
please stop.
encourage it. Don't
Yeah.
encourage it.
Dude, I wanted those brains to be out of that clinic as soon as possible. So I just took stacks of them to my table out front and just started eating them so they would run out quicker because I was tired of the jokes. And it
That's
worked.
I admire your dedication.
It worked until we got these brain stress balls, and then it was over. It was back to the start again. And I'm not gonna eat
Um,
some foam, so there's no way of
yeah.
getting rid of those.
well, Nikhil, why don't you go ahead and plug your socials? We have another. I hate to cut this short. We have another guest to get to.
No
Go
worries.
ahead and yeah. So why don't you go ahead and give us your socials, and we'll go
Okay.
ahead and get those posted in the show notes too.
Yeah, so you can find me at on Instagram on my tag is Nihkil_Pilli and Facebook just Nihkil Pilli. And if you want to follow our Comedy 409 Instagram or Facebook, on Instagram it's just comedy_409. It's going to be a purple icon. And then Facebook just comedy 409 will be the first thing to pop up. And if you look us up on Google, if you just type in comedy 409, I didn't tell Tom Hope this, but uh, we're the first link on Google
Nice,
now. Yeah, we made it.
nice.
But
Good job manipulating that algorithm, getting it where you need it. Like I'm gonna need
yeah,
you to show
yeah,
me how to do that.
for sure, man, for sure. I'll let you in on the Indian ways of the tech. But
Please teach me how to do. No, sir. Just
I'm just gonna need your
make the
social
Google work
security
for me.
number and your date of birth, man, and we can get this on the road.
And your bank account numbers.
Yeah, and your bank account numbers. But thanks for having me, guys. I hope the rest of the interview goes well with your guest.
Hey,
And
thank you. We appreciate you coming on. We appreciate
yeah,
you
it's good
taking
to
the
see you,
time.
Jamarcus. I'll see you next time you come out to a show. And
Yes, sir.
Tom, I hope I never see you again.
That's too bad because you're gonna see me again Tuesday.
Be like, "Mm, you."
I'll let you keep
Just
on
a
going.
little bit. But all right, thank you
You,
guys. I'm gonna
All right.
sign off.
Thank you, man.
All right, buddy.
All right, peace out.
So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the podcast. Here with us now, we have a Mr. James Young, who has an interesting story to tell us about really about his life and about how things went. So, James, let's start off. Let's tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, and what you came to tell us about.
Okay, so I am a real estate agent in Cancun, Mexico. I work with Remax Royal House. It's a worldwide international company, and I've been living in Cancun for a little over a year. And as an American, it is a complete culture shock. It's, of course, completely different from living in the US. I am literally like a small town boy from Orange, Texas. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So coming from that growing up to living in Cancun, Mexico, it is it's really wild. It's wild.
I can imagine. So, how did you end up making the decision to move to Cancun? I mean, just whatever you're comfortable sharing about that.
Yeah, no problem. So I was in Dallas, right? I had a construction company. I had built my own construction company from the ground up. Started as a handyman, right? Riding literally a freaking bicycle after I got out of prison, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that's a whole nother story. So I got out of prison, went to Dallas, decided I'm not going to go to Southeast Texas, right? Where, I'm probably going to fall into the same old pattern,
Yeah,
drinking, hanging out with the same
just a clean
friends.
break.
Exactly. But if you go somewhere completely new, it's like really hard to kind of like gain traction. Nobody
Well,
knows
I've done
you,
it a few
right?
times myself. Yeah.
Yeah. So I moved up to Dallas after getting out of prison. I was in a halfway house. The halfway house was hell. It was terrible. They make you like do all these classes, all this programming.
Yeah, man, you got
Um,
to program. You got to program on the inside and at the halfway.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So it was terrible. So one of the requirements is you had to save up like $500
Mm-hmm.
to afford your own place whenever you get out of the halfway house. So I got a job, right? Before I went to prison, I was a welder, right? Made like $35 an hour. It was like
Mm-hmm.
bankroll, right? But my first job out of there was the pooch patio.
What is the pooch
The
patio?
pooch,
Is that like a doggy daycare?
yeah, exactly.
Mm.
Exactly.
That
Yeah.
actually seems like a fun job.
I got bit like 5 times.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So it is fun. It was like really therapeutic, and helped me to like reintegrate into society because
Yeah.
animals are like, of course, really loving. So, anyways, let's skip through all the boring stuff. I rode
Yeah.
a bicycle all around Dallas and I started to gain traction. I started to get like clientele, right?
Mm-hmm.
Another interesting thing is that the house that I ended up renting, right? It was like $500, $400 a month, excuse me, for a room in a house, right? I
Mm-hmm.
rented it from this old black guy named Cleveland, right? Cleveland, I don't remember his last name, but his name was Cleveland.
Brown.
So, yeah, probably so. He kind of looked like the Cleveland Brown from Family Guy too. So
That's nice.
he was like this big thug, right?
Yeah.
And he was like, so I got this room for rent, and there's like four other guys that live in this house. I knew nothing about the place, right? I stayed there for maybe like what 2 months, and come to find out that it was a home for um for like registered sex offenders. Soon as I found that out, am I allowed to cuss on here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I got the fuck out of there. I was like,
Good. Yeah.
as soon as I found that out, I was like, hell no, this is not for me.
You
Which
see the
goes to show
attire.
you, just be careful if somebody
Yeah.
like comes to you and says like, hey, uh, you know, we don't do like background checks and all that stuff. You're probably getting yourself into like a weird situation. Now, I never really socialized with the guys, but there was this one guy. I talked with him a few times, and that's how I come to find out, right? So
Yeah.
as soon as I found that out, I got out of there and I moved into like an Oxford house. I don't know if you guys know what an Oxford house is, but an Oxford house is like a sober living home, right?
Yeah.
Ran by recovering addicts, recovering alcoholics. So now that was interesting too. I moved there. I probably stayed there for 2 months, and I decided like living in a house with like a bunch of other random dudes with all these rules and
Mm-hmm.
different personalities. It was like living. It was like you seen Jersey Shore, right? So like I lived in that Oxford house, and it was like Jersey Shore, like drama
Yeah.
and like girls and you
Oh,
said, he said, she said, you broke the rules.
snitching
Yeah.
each other out all the time and all that. Yeah, dude.
So it's
So is
like,
that what was? So were these? It was like the Oxford House, then like the Chomo House and all that. Was that all? What turned your decision to just up and leave? Like
what's
what
that?
led to that decision making process of you landing in Cancun?
Oh, Cancun. So yeah, like after all that, dude, I found a place to live for like $800 a month and built my construction company up for like 5 years. And man, at the end of my construction company, like the last year, I'm like hiring all these people, And, I didn't really do background checks because I wasn't really paying a whole lot. Everything was under the books, construction,
Yeah.
And I met
Yeah, I've
this
done it
girl,
before.
dude. I met this girl. I guarantee you, if you've seen this girl, you would say she is like the most beautiful girl you ever seen in your life, man. Like this
Right.
girl was fine. And like long blonde hair, blue eyes, like, plastic surgery. She had fake chest, fake breasts,
Yeah. You
just
could say
absolute
titties.
dime.
You could
So I
say
hired
titties.
this tits. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. That's what I'm talking about. So so I hired this chick, man, absolutely gorgeous.
We gotta
Yeah,
clip
go
that
ahead.
for a drop. Tits, that's what I'm talking about. So anyway, go ahead. So you met this beautiful woman, hired her
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, it was weird because like I did construction. Like I was a
Mhm.
freaking construction company. What is this like dime piece, beautiful blonde hair, blue eyed girl coming to work and do dirty ass, nasty work,
Yeah.
you know? But that gave me respect for her, right? In that sense, because she wasn't like out there doing the OnlyFans. She was like actually, she wanted to do construction like her whole life.
Yeah.
You know, we have like those rare one-off girls, but that kind of tells something about their psyche. They're kind of crazy, right?
Yeah.
And
So,
and of
so
course, what's that?
I was gonna say any woman that I've found that works in a heavy blue collar field, up to and including my absolute best friend on this planet, is a hot mess, a shit show, if you will.
Yeah, absolute shit show. So turns out, like, I'm just gonna skip through the whole relationship part with her because, like, and just go straight to the end because there's all kinds of stuff that happened in between.
Right.
I come to find out that the first day on the job, she was tripping on mushrooms. No wonder why. She did a badass job. Like, I'm not gonna lie, she did a badass job. She
Well, I
did
mean,
a
she was on
great job.
mushrooms.
Huh?
Well, I mean, she was on mushrooms, dude. I don't know if you've ever did anything on mushrooms, but it always goes well. You're just
She
like
did a
singing
great
in the
job.
flow. Yeah, I believe it.
She painted this whole entire bathroom like in the 8 hour shift, and she didn't fuck nothing up. She didn't get no paint on the floor. She painted the whole bathroom. It looked fucking
She's killing it.
great.
Yeah.
She was on it, man. I was
Yeah.
like, it's like what the fuck? Okay. So, anyways, I fell in love with her, and we had like XYZ problems, right?
Yeah.
Throughout the whole relationship. And at one point, she pulled a knife on me. She literally like pulled a knife on me.
Time out.
She called me. Okay,
Time
go,
out.
go, go, go.
As a man
Yeah,
who frequently dates Latinas, I've heard this story about 17 times. Tell
I
us the
bet
story
you
of how
have.
you ended up with a knife on you.
Okay, okay. So, we had kind of been at odds, right?
Yeah.
She calls me over one night. She's like, we had split up. She's like, come over. I need you tonight. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I
We
mean?
all know
That
that
late
call.
night call.
We all know that phone call.
Yeah. So of course, I was horny, right? So I go over there and I'm like, okay, I brought some food. And she's like,
Yeah.
well, I'm not hungry. So the reason why she wasn't hungry is because her thing is like Adderall and alcohol. I don't know if you know what Adderall does to you. Adderall is speed. It's like legal methamphetamine. It makes you go
What?
It's
up.
basically meth.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. It Adderall's an upper. It's we were just saying it's time release methamphetamines.
Methamphetamines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done
Well,
my fair share of Adderall.
whenever you combine that with alcohol, you go
Yeah.
up and then you go down, up, down, up, down. And what do they call it whenever you're going like up and down like that? You're hot and you're cold.
Bipolar.
They call it bipolar disorder,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So like imagining dating this, and I felt really bad for her, right? That's why I kept going back to her, is because Now this one's a banger. This one's terrible. It's really sad. So this girl, I don't know if 100% if it's true, like, but her mom confirmed it, her sister confirmed it, but she had been molested from like the age of 3 all the way to the
Yeah.
age of like 17 by the only man she ever knew to be dad, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I kept going back to this girl, right? I kept like rationalizing, justifying all that bullshit.
Yeah.
So she invites me over. I brought food. She's not hungry. We have a long conversation. It was really weird because she believes in like spirits and witches. She's really religious, witchcraft, and they're demons. And I'm like,
Well,
what
circle
the-
back.
Hold
Circle
on.
back.
Wait, she believed what?
Time out. So she's super religious,
She believed in
kind of a
what?
witchcraft kind of chick.
She wasn't into witchcraft, but she believed that like witches and like warlocks are real and that they're like roaming this earth and that they can actually like cast spells on
Wait,
people.
What was her religious like? What was the name of this religion that she believed in?
So she claims to be a non-denominational Christian. She is a consistent member of a church in Dallas called Gateway Church. It's a really, really big church. They have a TV show and
There's one
everything.
here too.
Right.
There's a Gateway Church here in Beaumont.
Is
Hey,
it?
jump on
That's
that Google machine,
interesting.
see if they're related. We're about to find
Yeah.
out if this is a cult or not.
I don't know, but
Well, there's
it's
a Gateway in Beaumont too.
yeah, that's the thing is she's big with the cults and like everybody's in like a sex kind of thing, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Like,
Yeah.
because like unless I'm really out of the loop, right? Like I don't run into a lot of people.
Oh,
Yeah,
time out.
Time out. We're gonna pull a map up
Time
real quick.
out.
We're gonna put a map on the screen real quick so you can see this.
Time out. Oh,
Does it say the pastor's name? If you say it, I'll remember it.
No, but if you look at your screen,
look at your screen.
Yeah.
This is just in like okay. I'm gonna zoom
there's
into
5 in Texas.
Oh my god. There's one. There's one here in
San Antonio.
And then where the fuck is this one? That's in
Breckenridge, Fort Worth, 5 in Fort Worth.
There's
3 in Garland.
There's a Venus, Weatherford, 3 in Garland, 5 in Fort Worth. Prosper campus.
Yeah, so there's about 8 or 9 of these dudes. So yeah. So this is the church your ex old lady that gave you the old knife and was in.
And
all right.
then this is, and then just look at the United States.
Yeah, and then nationwide.
And then,
Oh my god.
Oh my
Gosh.
god. This is okay.
Look. They have prison campuses.
Where are these prison campuses at?
There's 4 prison campuses in Texas.
Yeah. So they're like they're
Dallas,
big
Fort
into
Worth,
like
Palestine,
prison
Garland,
ministry.
Gainesville, or Sherman and Prosper.
Oh my god.
That is the greatest thing I've ever seen. So continuing on. So y'all had this long conversation. She was on drugs and drinking, super religious. So how do we get from the late night booty text to getting shanked?
So I came over, I brought some food, right? Of course it was like, yeah, a booty call, right? I came over and I brought some food and she was like saying all this witch stuff. She was saying all this witch stuff. And then like I'm like, okay, whatever, I don't care about that. You don't want to eat. Well, then let's just get our thing out, right? So she starts doming me up. She starts giving me head, right?
Yeah.
We're right there in the kitchen. I lay her down on the little chair there and start doing. She's like laid down, right, on her back on the kitchen chair, and I'm like literally going at it on her face, right?
Damn.
So Yeah, it got hot and messy there for a little bit, right? So then we went to the couch and we had sex,
Right.
doggy style. And I distinctly remember this. I pulled out my camera, right? Because recently we've been fighting, right? Recently we had been fighting, and my
Right.
my my, my trust level in this girl is like really low.
Nil.
So
None. Yeah.
yeah, so I nutted in her. I put the camera away.
That's a perfect place to put that, especially when you don't trust her.
Am I breaking any rules here? I don't want to. I don't want to be
No, you're
too.
good, man.
No, we don't care.
We will let you
Yeah.
know. Quick side note for you, James. The only rules we really have for conversations, racism, sexism, homophobia, pedophilia. Basically, if it's a social taboo, then it's off limits. But like guns, religion, politics, freaking culture, society, they're all on the table. You know what I mean? Just don't say things that would cast us as a show in the bad light. Otherwise, this episode will never see the light of day and it'll just get buried and we'll run with what we have and make some shit up. But no, I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
see
yeah.
any reason. You can cuss, you can talk, you can tell stories. If you feel like you would be saying something that might lead to you admitting something illegal, you can gloss over the high points on that one.
Yeah, we'll just gloss over the high points. So, anyways,
And we
what
get it.
happened is after we had sex, we get in an argument, right? Because apparently somebody had like cut the tires on her truck. She had another boyfriend. She also had a sugar daddy. That makes the story. I'm not going to go into all that, to
Yeah.
make this story short. But what happened was we had sex. We get in an argument afterwards, right? And I said, okay, well, if you're gonna just stay up all night and like blare music, I'm gonna go, right? She's like,
Yeah.
nah, you're not just hitting it and quitting it, boy. You're gonna stay right here with me. And I'm
Oh,
like,
God.
no, I'm not. So I go to leave, right? And she gets in front of me. Now let me tell you, this girl, she trains Krav Maga. You know what the fuck Krav Maga is?
Yeah, the Israeli special
Yeah.
operations fighting. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, right? She trains Krav Maga, and not only that, she works out every day religiously. She does not miss a day. She is strong. This girl is a freaking badass, bro.
Right.
And she loves knives. So she's got sharp shit all over her house, right? Her apartment. So she's not wanting to let me go, but I'm trying to like play the game so I can get to the door and just kind of like
Yeah.
bounce out, right? So I try to leave. She takes my phone and I can't like call the cops. And, I'm like, whatever. So as I'm like getting out, what happens is like she goes to the kitchen, she's looking for something, and I ran around like this corner and I jet out the door and she sees me, she runs after me, and just before I like go down the stairs, she like wraps her arm around, she grabs me by the throat, dude. I'm not shitting you.
So you got yoked up.
She grabs me by the throat, and like, I am not about to fight a woman. I would never put my hands on a woman. I was
Of
raised
course.
right,
Hold on.
Southeast Texas. My dad. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, yeah, no doubt. I know you wouldn't, but you're defending yourself. So go ahead.
So go ahead. Yeah.
No, I didn't. That's the thing. I didn't do anything.
Okay.
Once she put her hands on me, like I went limp, right? So
Yeah.
she pushes me up against this wall and she puts her hands on my throat, right? Literally, like she's trying to choke the shit out of me. But like, look at me. Like,
Yeah.
I don't really work out too much, but like doing construction for 5 years, I'm a fucking stiff ass dude, right?
Yeah.
So you're not just gonna like, choke me out. I got a pretty big neck. She's got kind of small hands, right?
Yeah.
So I just stayed right there, right? I'm like begging with her, pleading with her. I'm looking dead into her eyes, like, why are you doing this? And I could
Yeah.
just see in her eyes, like the pupil of her eyes, they were like that big. They were like
Yeah.
the size of pennies, man. So she was just like, it wasn't her. She was out of there, on the
Yeah.
on the Adderall and the alcohol on that roller coaster, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she talks to me. She's like, "Look, I just don't want you to leave." She lets her hands down. She says, "I just don't want you to leave. Just stay with me." Like I connected with her for a second. So she's
Yeah.
just like, "So just come back in and everything will be fine. I won't do anything to you." And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, okay.
So you go back
She's
in
like,
like a dummy.
I'll turn the music down, I'll turn it off, and we can just go to sleep like normal people, right? Like I'm not
Yeah.
high as fuck right now. So we go inside, and and that's when the knife comes out. She's like, she gets in between me and the door. She locks the door. We go inside. She shuts the door. She locks it. And then she pulls out a knife. She says, "You're not fucking going anywhere until I find my phone. I know you have it." I'm like, whoa. And I got videos of this. I got
Yeah.
I got videos of this shit, right?
Yeah. Protect yourself.
So, right. I got, and everything. I literally, I was recording her, right?
Yeah.
So I put my hands up, right, with with my phone in my hand, and I'm like recording it because I found it. And I'm recording her, and I let her I'm like, pat me down, dude. Check it. I don't have your phone, bro. I promise. You know.
Yeah. You're just like
Somehow,
you're filming.
yeah. So then she takes the knife and she does like that, and I put my hand up, right? Like she swipes her knife at me, like she's gonna cut me. I put my hand out to like try to grab her hand and to like to get them to like stop her from cutting me, and that's how she like literally like cut my hand. I wish I had the picture to put it on the screen right now, my cut hand, because
Yeah.
obviously I eventually get away from her, right? I eventually get away. I get out the door. I get away, and I get in my van. And I go to the gas station. And I'm like having this moment of reckoning. Like, damn, bro, I almost died, right?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I'm like, what do I do? What do I
Yeah.
do at this point? I
Yeah.
said, well, dude, what would a girl do if the roles were reversed? She'd call the freaking cops, bro.
Yeah.
So I called the cops, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it turns out she calls the cops too. But I called the cops came to me.
Yeah.
They asked me what happened. Where's she at? Where did it? I tell them everything. So they go over there, they talk to her, right? This is a little exhausting, kind of like hard to share because
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck did I get myself into? Like who did
Yeah.
I fall in love with?
And
Right?
oftentimes, like delving back into these topics to relate a story, sometimes you hit some tender spots, man. If you need to take a second, it's fine.
No, it's cool. So because I've been through worse, bro.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
my
you've been to
father was,
jail. So.
yeah, I've been in prison for a year. My father was physically abused. I've been through worse, but I'm like trying to do the right thing.
Yeah.
So I've been doing really well for like 6, 7 years. I've been clean and sober for
Good,
six,
man.
7 years. I'm a member of AA, NA, all that good stuff. But all this stuff is kind of boring. My story to redemption, my story to like of hope and coming from nothing. Like a lot of people just, oh well, we all got a sad story, right? We've all been through challenges and obstacles and shit. A lot of people really don't care about that. We want to hear the spicy stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, I called the police. Police came. They talked to me. They went over there. They talked to her, and then they come back. Man, this is where it gets really interesting. They come back to me. They don't say nothing. They say, "Turn around. Put your hands behind your back." They slam me down on the car, on the hood of the car. Slam me down on the hood of the car, right? And put me in the cop car. They said, "You're going to jail." I said, "For what?" And they looked at me. They didn't know. They said, "She raped you. I mean, you raped her because she said that you raped her." And I was like,
Yeah.
Are you fucking serious, dude? Are you
Yeah.
serious? She really said that? Well, that's where I'm glad that I took that video of us
Yeah.
having sex. I still have the video to this day. This shit happened like almost 2 years ago. I have the
Yeah.
video on my computer, on my phone, bro, on an SD and on an
Yeah.
SD card. I will never lose that video in case
Well, I mean, that video saved your
anything.
ass, saved your life.
Exactly. So I showed. They called like the chief of the police, Dallas, whatever precinct, or they called the
Yeah.
supervisor. So the supervisor, the captain or the detective, he comes out. And I show him everything on my phone, the video, the photos, the text. I recorded our conversation of her talking about the witches and demons and all that stuff. I showed him everything right then and there. Bro, if I did not do all of that, if I did not record her, video recorder, voice recorder, and everything, document like our whole interaction, I'd be sitting in prison right now for rape, just
Bro, you
off of
probably
her
still,
word.
dude, you'd probably still be in pretrial. You probably wouldn't even gone to trial yet. You'd probably just now be getting arraigned. Well, no, you would have been arraigned. You probably would have just now been starting pretrial and starting your bond and all that. 2 years
Yeah.
later.
So, anyways, what happens is after he sees all that documentation that I provided to him, and also the cut on my hand that was right here,
Mm-hmm.
they said, well, what do you want us to do? They went back and talked to her, came back and talked to me. They said, what do you want us to do? I said, what the fuck would you do? What would you
Yeah.
do if I actually did this to her, what she did to me?
Yeah.
You know, like why would you even ask that question? You know what I mean? Like,
You know what you
and
want
that's
me. You know what I want you to do. I called you.
yeah, take that
Like,
bitch
do
to
your
jail.
job. That's what I want.
Yeah.
Give her
So
some
they
nice bracelets.
so they take her to jail, right? She goes to jail. Probably the first time in her life she goes to jail.
Mm-hmm.
But remember earlier I mentioned she has like she has a sugar daddy whose net worth is like over what $200 million, right?
Yeah. Can he be my
So
sugar daddy?
yeah. So you can look this girl up on Facebook, man. Her name's Melanie
Nah,
Michelle. Huh?
we're not gonna dime people out. I'm gonna draw a boundary on that one. We're gonna edit that little bit
Okay.
out, but yeah, we'll leave it at you can look her up on Facebook.
Yeah, you can look her up on Facebook. All right. Well, yeah. So, anyways, yeah, she's got like a sugar daddy that's like net worth over like $200 million. Her ex-husband, he owns all the biggest gun clubs in Dallas, Texas. He's a multimillionaire. And of course, you know, she just called the sugar daddy and sugar daddy dropped like some money. Her stuff didn't even go to like what they call discovery, or it didn't even
Mm-hmm.
go. Like they caught it so early on in the process that she never really got charged with anything.
Yeah.
So with the money that he paid, right? Whenever you have like
Yeah.
really powerful lawyer and you have a lot of money, you can make a lot of things happen, right?
Yeah, I've
And
seen that.
yeah, it cost him like $80,000 to get all that stuff thrown under the table.
Right. So hey, listen, I'm gonna go, we're gonna take 5. I'm gonna use the restroom real quick. We'll pick back up at the conclusion of the events of the evening, and we'll pick up at the conclusion of talking about how she got out of it with the sugar daddy, and then let's start moving into getting into the decision process of getting the fuck up out of there. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's
right,
take
buddy.
5.
We'll be right back with you.
We got to the point of the confrontation, and she basically got herself out of it, exercising the ex-husband and the sugar daddy.
Right.
Correct?
Exactly.
Okay, so the
So
dust settles. I'm assuming you had to do some. Yeah, I'm assuming you had to go down to the station, give a statement, and all that good jazz, close the case out, and all that.
yeah, no, actually didn't have to do anything at all. It was
Oh,
just
that's
the
great.
charges were dropped. She was clear, all that good stuff. But
It just
I
got called an ugly
realized
lover quarrel.
what's that?
It just got called an ugly lovers quarrel and sent down the road.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's kind of the
Yeah,
feeling I got from that.
yeah. But which is unfortunate, you know, because she got out and practically, you know, was looking for revenge after she got out of prison jail for 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
And she was looking for revenge. And of course, I let her come back, and
As one
we
does.
had another. we had another incident. After that incident, I said, okay, I have got to get away from this girl. So I finally, after like literally 4 or 5 years of working in my building a construction company, I I moved to actually I didn't move. I came to Cancun for 2 weeks for like a vacation.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I absolutely loved it because I did like all these amazing tours. I flew my dad out
Mm-hmm.
for the second week. We went offshore fishing. We had an absolute blast. And then after the 2 weeks, came back to Dallas, and it was just kind of like the same old shit. And I said, man, like I am not gonna grow if I don't like go. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Sometimes you have to grow. You have to go to grow. You have to go to
Yeah.
new places.
You have to seek greener pastures in order to fulfill your life.
Yep.
I've done the same thing. I've moved to San Antonio, Austin, Laredo, Austin again, Dallas. Spent a little bit of time in Knoxville, so I get that. I
Yeah,
get that.
yeah. Exactly. So after those 2 weeks, man, I just like I said, man, I'm moving to Cancun, Mexico. Like
Yeah,
I looked at my money, my financials. I had plenty of money, right?
yeah.
Cancun, Mexico. One of the biggest deciding factors is that like rent here. You know what I pay for rent in my apartment, my 1 bedroom, fully furnished apartment? Guess. Just take
Hmm.
a wild guess.
300 American.
You're like, that's funny because you're like right on the dot. It's like 5,000 pesos. Yeah,
I've looked
300
into
American. That's about,
it.
huh?
Yeah, I've looked
That's
into it.
that's
My fiance and I have looked into moving to Nuevo Laredo in North Mexico.
Yeah, but like my rent's 300 pesos, right? So
Yeah,
like on $50,000, you could live like 5 years without even working, with never
yeah,
working 5 years, you know? So of course, like I moved down here, bro. So
yeah.
that's a whole nother story though, you know, moving down here, I literally drove a truck 5 days all across Texas and America. I mean, Mexico, 5 different cities, stayed in Airbnbs, drove during the day. Finally got here. First day in Cancun, I got another girlfriend.
I like your style.
Mm.
I like your moves. I want to subscribe to your newsletter. I want to learn from you, sir. But
Yeah,
yeah, man.
yeah.
So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and call it an evening. Would you like to go ahead and plug your socials and your professionals so that we can get this show wrapped, and then we'll pick up again next week. We'll do we'll figure out a snazzy title, and we'll get part 2 going next week.
Okay, cool. So like share my socials. Yeah, I got just like James Young on Facebook. James Young Real Estate is my business page. As I said, like I'm a real estate agent with Remax Roll House here in Cancun,
Hmm.
Mexico, and uh, I love selling real estate, and especially where real estate is like the absolute cheapest, like practically in the world. How are you? Where else are you gonna go and buy like a brand new 2 bedroom, 1 bath apartment for like $30,000? Anyways,
Right.
mm,
There's
yeah,
something
yeah,
to be said.
$30,000. What's that?
Yeah. There's something to be said for leaving. I mean, there is a solid case right now financially to make your exit. Honestly, if I
Yeah,
didn't have my 3 kids, I'd have been gone. I'd have deuced out and lived in Asia for the rest of my.
yeah. Asia is also like a really good choice as well. A lot of really
Hmm.
affordable countries in Asia. So
Oh yeah, for sure.
yeah, unfortunately, things are like really expensive in the U.S. and kids do make it like really difficult to move because you're worried, are your kids going to get the same opportunities? Are your kids going to get the same education? But I do encourage people to take a leap of faith, you know, and try new things, man. Because whenever you spread your horizons, you open yourself up to so many different opportunities. Because like your kids as American citizens, they already have that the number one key factor, the key beneficiary of being an American citizen. They're already going to know English, right? So if they
Yeah.
move to another country and they know learn a different language, that's going to put them like ahead of the game of like
Hmm.
probably 90% of the other people. Even if y'all just decided to go for like a year or two, your kids
Oh
are going to
yeah.
be so well ahead of the game in comparison to all the other kids they go to school with, because now they're well cultured. They're like
Mhm.
international learners. You know what I mean? But anyways, I don't want to get too deep into that. So okay.
Well, all right, James. We're gonna go ahead and call it an evening. I've got some rat killing to do, and I think Coach has some stuff to take care of. We're gonna go ahead and let you go. Thank you for coming on the show, and hearing from you next week.
All right, my man. Peace out.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are gonna wrap this episode up with a little bit of a calendar action for you. So first up, coming up immediately, as mentioned earlier by Nihkil, we have Comedy at the Bottom, brought to you by Soggy Bottom Saloon and Comedy 409. The show is at the Soggy Bottom Saloon, 11325 Old Voth Road, Beaumont, Texas. We'll have Ken Jones and Don S. Tickets are $10 at the door. Showtime is at 8:30 p.m.
Mm-hmm. What else?
We have Mary Jane's 420 celebration featuring yours truly and a smattering of my other comedy friends. I'm not even making this up. We will be doing arts and crafts. We will have comedy, infused food and beverage. Okay, it's BYOB, but I promise you it's going to be fun. We're going to paint potheads, which are potting plants. I think I killed Coach. We're going to make, and you're going to paint them. We're going to paint them and decorate them however you want. And I promise you, it's going to be fun. I promise you, we are going to have a good time. Folks, come out and join us in Lumberton for the 420 celebration. I think I'm going to bring Coach there, and I'm going to feed him one edible and see how this goes.
I can't breathe.
Think you can't breathe now? Wait till I give you that edible. You have to do one.
No.
One little one.
No.
Like a 50, like a 10 milligram.
Fuck.
Really? No.
Ooh, bisexual colors. Never mind.
What? Oh my
Yeah,
mic.
it was bisexual colors for a second.
Oh, now it's trans. Trans awareness, baby. Easter Sunday. No? Okay. We'll let Biden have that one.
Why do I keep you?
Because you can't do this without me. You can say you can do this without me, but I couldn't do this without you, and you couldn't do this without me.
Why do I keep
Because I'm hilarious.
in your own head?
People keep paying me to be funny, so I mean, take that for what it's worth.
Whatever. All right, everybody. That's it for this week. I don't know if he'll be back.
So there's a distinct possibility that if we don't delay recording, I may be reporting live from Fort Cavazos multi-purpose machine gun range.
And if he does that, hey, more content.
That's right.
Would love to have that.
Oh, I'm gonna get plenty, dude. I'm gonna get hella video of shooting machine guns while we're there.
See if Zuckerberg likes that one.
That's Zuckerberg's problem, not mine.
Such a rebel.
I said what I said. Kick me off of Facebook. I've been looking for a reason to leave that boomer wasteland anyway.
Aren't you a boomer?
I am a millennial.
You're 40.
Yeah, millennials are 40.
No, we're not.
How old are you?
30.
Bitch, you're a baby. Yeah, you're right in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
I am the top of the millennial food chain. All right, 83.
The top is
80.
42.
Yeah, 1980. So I'm in that top fucking years. You can kiss my skinny ass. I'm a millennial. I'm not Gen X. My brother and sister are Gen X. I am not.
Whatever you say, boomer. By the way, Sonic, if you want to sponsor,
Yeah, Sonic.
for you.
Sonic. We'd like to be sponsored. Sonic, Glock, and Zen. Zen, come on, buddy.
He's an addict.
I am. At least it's nicotine and not like, crack cocaine.
Until next time, I'm Coach.
I'm Tom.
We've been doing that bullshit, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.